Whoa. It's high speed. This is kind of a
My
trailer.
place is the mountains. Like, that's just where I come back to center.
This guy has one leg missing.
26 years. Putting on my community is my fear.
The outdoor, it's like life lessons and patience and perseverance.
It is her big shot at the Olympics, and you could cut the tension with a knife in here.
And it's like you get anxiety before, you're like super unsure, you're up there, and everything in your body is like, oh, you shouldn't do this.
You shouldn't do
To
this.
have to fail and then bang, you get it. It's beautiful. It's progression in life. It's striving towards being a better human.
No wasted days. Okay. And, of course, if you go to the mountains from Wisconsin, you waste a couple of days getting there. But it might be okay once you get there. But so Arc'teryx is a jacket manufacturer, and I think that's their main thing. You know, I didn't know what it was the first time I saw it. I saw the logo on the jacket, and I thought it was just imprinted merchandise. But anyway, this is part of a quest of theirs to awaken the inner adventurer in all. My main adventures are on YouTube now, but I did find you know, you can find videos of adventures you've already had that you didn't have your GoPro handy like back in the 70s or 80s. I found a video of going down the rock wall at chair number 4 in Vail, which is it's not that scary. But if you're standing at the top of it and trying to ski down the rock wall, you just got to kind of bounce from piece of snow to piece of snow, and it's only about 3 bounces and you're done. It's not, you know, even if you fell, you'd probably only break a minor bone. Anyway, I've done a lot of crazy stuff, and so this brought back memories. It's really a trailer about several films that they're featuring. They've got 3 of them made at this moment. Dark Horse, which follows Joe Lax, a 44-year-old snowboarder. He was the guy on the bus who enjoys living off-grid. It seems like in the city. Continuum recounts the time a band of adventurers assemble a tent from 137 jackets and 109 below, which documents an attempted rescue, doesn't sound too positive, on Mount Washington in 1982, 109 below. Yeah, Mount Washington is a really weird place because it's out east. It's not as high as the Rockies, but for some reason, because it sticks up, it has some of the worst weather on Earth. I don't know quite how that's possible, but apparently it is. You can actually go online and find there's a weather station up there, and you can get live video from it. So pretty cool, huh? Anyway, so these films are coming out, and they're directed by Jordan Finley of Boldly, a Vancouver-based film production and creative studio. In the coming months, Arc'teryx's films will embark on a global film adventure. Tickets go for the tour, global film tour. Tickets for the tour go on sale today at Arc'teryx's website. Okay, so you can find out more about that. Pick the sport that you like best. I didn't see regular downhill skiing off cliffs, but I've done that. Those days are over. Here's a really nice article by Nicole Silberstein, and how eBay is separating itself from the marketplace pack with a focus on enthusiasts. And I have a lot of things I bought on eBay. It seems to me that when I went to Italy, I bought these really great shoes. These are genuine topsiders, gold cup, and they were reported to be some of the best walking shoes in the world. And I bought them for, I don't know what, $35 or something. They retail for about $220. And now 8 years later, I'm still wearing them by choice. They're some of the best shoes. But that's the kind of thing you can get on eBay. I bought a lot of shoes. I bought a lot of watches. I bought cars. I bought man. Well, the best thing is, like, I've got a 1968 Harley Davidson golf cart, and there's one part that kept breaking, and we epoxied it back together, and we just couldn't fix it anymore. I went on eBay and I found that part, and I got in touch with the seller, and he said, well, I was thinking of making some of these because I know that it's a problem part, but all I've got right now is the prototype, which is made out of clear plastic. Would you be okay with that? I figured I'd make them in black like the original. I said, I don't care what color the plastic. It's in a case. You can't see it anyway. He said, right. And it's worked ever since. Where else could you find that? You can't even start to find it. People were tearing out their entire engine and electrical system because they couldn't find that part. My furnace is old. The last time we had a problem with it, the repairman came in, looked at it, and said, I don't know anything about this, and walked out. Now, I built this house myself, so it's not like it's an antique house or something. But sure enough, I could find a part. The number one reason furnaces are replaced is because the exhaust blower goes, and it's just a little fan that's attached to the furnace. It's not even really part of the furnace per se. And mine was making terrible squeaky noises, and I bought one on eBay. I bought two, actually. The first one was $450. The repair place, when I finally got the owner and stuff, said they could put a new one on for $800. So I found one for $450, but when I got it, it didn't work. And the seller was very clear that he didn't take returns. But I said, well, he described it thusly, and eBay sure came to my defense. It was wonderful. And so I could return it, got all my money back. I love that. I sold an arcade game for $3,000. I sold an antique toy truck for $500. I've sold a few cars. I sold some odd things on there. Anyway, the arcade game is probably the best one. And so I'm just a huge fan. I've been on it since 1999. I think my ID number is, in the 10,000s. So I'm probably one of the first 100,000 members. 1999. I just looked that up. And, they notice that when I have 729 transactions. I don't qualify as an enthusiast because I'm usually buying little stuff, but I buy a couple of times a month. They should note that the enthusiasts are not just big spenders. There's some real loyal, devoted little spenders. Oftentimes, a more frequent buyer is more likely to buy again, even if they're older, than a large one-time buyer. I'm trying to find, there's a really long article. It'll be up in the show notes. But they had a breakdown of how they decide on what an enthusiast counts for. My PDF equipment here. Of the 132 million eBay buyers in one quarter, 16 million qualified as enthusiasts, defined as someone with at least 6 purchases a year and annual spend of $800 or higher. I've been there a couple of times, but not all the time. Those 16 million shoppers, which equate to just 12% of eBay's shopper base, contributed approximately 70% of eBay's total gross margin whatever that is, for the quarter, according to Stephanie J., eBay's Chief Business and Strategy Officer. So now I'm going to offer a little piece of advice to eBay. It's great to focus on the enthusiasts, but no matter what you do, they go away. Some of them are old and die. Some of them, have no more income. They're pensioners or whatever. For whatever reason, your enthusiasts are always leaving. They won't tell you they're leaving, but they are. And where did those enthusiasts come from? They came from one-time buyers. And so what you need to do is try to figure out of that 132 million buyers, which of them have the potential to become those 16 million enthusiasts. And that's what we do with mail. We elevate them, we encourage them, and we try to figure out the 132 million. We can look at the 16 million, but the problem is we don't always know why those 16 million have become enthusiasts. It might be one of those orders that got messed up, or that furnace blower that I talked about, that the guy said he wouldn't take a return, but then eBay came to my rescue, and I've had that happen more than a few times. I would never do it fraudulently, but I think they know that. They figure that out. And so eBay is wonderful. eBay gives me access to sellers that have one part, and it's the part I need. Amazon would never let that happen. And Amazon competes with their sellers, right? If you got an item that's hot, they'll knock it off. Okay? eBay doesn't do that. They don't sell stuff. Okay? So you can tell I'm a big fan. I'm a big enthusiast, and I may reach out to some of those eBay people. I would love to work with eBay and help them figure out the 132 million that are left. Which of those deserve a little boost? And we could do that with mail. We could do it really effectively. And I know every now and then I get a mailer from eBay. Why is direct mail a powerful marketing channel? By Mike Gunderson. Okay, it's safer, higher brand recall, higher response rate, and boosts web traffic. Okay, and I would say there's more to it than that. There's many more, but 4 proven and compelling reasons to add direct mail to your marketing mix. And I like this because he started with, you've got a solid digital marketing approach in the works, like eBay. They don't really encourage me much to buy, and that's what I would say they could spend a little bit of, at least test money on it. I'm not asking them to take all their budget and throw it at 132 million. The problem is you can burn up a lot of money even if you only spend $1 a piece, right? So you got to be careful. Got to have good segmentation. Anyway, direct mail is more than just a viable option. It's actually one of the most effective marketing tactics today. Okay, and so he cites a couple of studies, which you know how I feel about that. It's deemed safer. There's this factoid going around that spam makes up 45% of all emails sent. And spam has particular definition. I know something about the Canned Spam Act. And it's unsolicited mail without a clear sender. But I count spam kind of like I count junk mail, where it's just something I'm not interested in. That's what I call as spam. And I would say in my email today, which I looked at somewhat more carefully, when I opened it up, I had 62 new email, and then I got another 22 between going from home to the office. So I had about 90 email in my new email list since I went to bed, which just shows you. And I didn't find one email in there that I needed to read. Okay, so you can say 45%, but I can say 95% is stuff I don't need to read. And I did make the mistake of clicking on 1 or 2, which were completely sales of stuff I didn't want. Okay, so I didn't unsubscribe today, but I usually do once or twice. But anyway, a lot of times there can be links in there. I got one yesterday from Microsoft, supposedly, that telling me my computer is needs service, and it probably wasn't Microsoft, but it looked very, very persuasive. And I know it's a lie. Just check the links that they want you to click on. They're not Microsoft.com. They're, they're gobbledygook.ru or something like that. So your email can be an attack on your computer or personal information. And the more personal it looks, the more likely it is. I always like the one, I just ran across this. Check it out, from your wife or somebody. And it turns out to be a rogue link, and again, they're going to go after your computer. So direct mail is safer than that, but also direct mail is safer for the marketer, because the privacy regulations, the canned spam is a good one, or the CCPA, or the GDPR. How about that? You didn't know I knew these things off the top of my head. Anyway, they're all geared basically toward email. They're not geared toward mail. The mailers of the UK were paranoid and terrified, and one of the largest retailers actually deleted all their older than 12-month buyers, 0 to 12-month buyers, and but then the mailers got together and said, we've been mailing these people for 40 years, They like getting it in the mail. And they said, "Oh yeah, that's fine. We don't mind that. Take it easy. You don't mail them too often." But so privacy regulations, and one of the printers in Canada that I've interacted with said, "Well, that's because the government gets money from postage. They don't get money from email." How's that for insight, right? Great insight. Okay, so direct mail is safer for the marketers, and if you have people going off and haven't bought in a while, that would be a number one first step trial for eBay. Would be let's mail something to the buyers that have high potential. They live in good neighborhoods. Maybe they've bought some interesting collectibles or something like that, an interesting product category. Let's send them an email. Maybe send them an item that's in that category that they were looking at. Say, we have some new listings for this. I don't know. There's a lot of things you could do, but you don't have to worry that they haven't engaged with you in 5 years. See if they're alive, right? We can even check if they're alive before we send it. We can eliminate the ones that are dead. Direct mail has a database for that. Okay, so you get higher brand recall, and he cites the neuroscience study, which I have over here someplace, and the fact is your brain has 10 times more neuroreceptors than it has for tactile than it does for sight. So you automatically get 10 times more engagement in the recipient's head than you do from mail, than from email. Plus, remember, we know who we sent it to. We know it got delivered. We know it goes to a decision maker because not everybody can throw the mail out, and it forces them to make a decision. So there is an engagement level that's so much higher. Plus, Mike doesn't mention this because they don't do as much of this as I have, but it also lets us have AI working for us because we know who got the mail and bought, and we know who got the mail, engaged, and didn't buy. Direct mail is the only medium that gives you the engaged non-buyers. Another point for eBay, when you have millions and millions of buyers, it's really, really cool to do machine learning. And mail has it built in. Email, not so much. And it's harder to hang variables on it. But anyway, would love to help with that. I'm sure you've got something going in the behind the scenes. Okay, obviously it drives traffic. Now, if you don't track it properly, your attribution will give credit to the cookie that's been on the site for a long time. All of your buyers practically have a cookie, first-party cookie, they're not going away, from visiting your website. And let's say they haven't visited in a while, but they have that cookie. Now you mail to the older buyers. They come to the website. You say, oh, they've been here before. The internet sent them. Right. Or Google has tracked them from other places, and Google says, we've sent them. But the fact is, the mail probably sent them. So make sure you do matchback on those names you mailed and say, okay, a month later, how many of those came back to the site? How many of those visited the site? And you give mail the credit for those orders and those visits. And you'll find out that mail has a much higher engagement than you thought, right? But if you just run your algorithmic attribution, mail won't get any credit at all because they've all been there before, right? They all have first-party cookies, okay? So track it right. Strong call to action. Mike gives tips on how to make your mailers more effective. Excellent stuff. I'm also going to include the ANA mail study summary from January 2022. Mike has a link to the 2018 study, but it's a broken link. So have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.